Have you ever wondered about the origins of one of the world's oldest religions, Hinduism? This timeless faith, steeped in rich history and profound wisdom, continues to shape societies even today. To truly appreciate its depth and complexity, it's vital to understand its evolution. From its mysterious beginnings, through its dynamic growth, to its modern manifestations, Hinduism's journey is a fascinating tale of tradition, transformation, and tenacity. Join us on this enlightening journey to unravel the mysteries of Hinduism. Hinduism didn't just appear overnight, its roots trace back to the ancient Indus Valley civilization. This civilization, one of the world's oldest, thrived around 5,000 years ago in what is now modern-day Pakistan and northwest India. The Indus Valley people were deeply spiritual. They revered a multitude of deities, some of which bear striking similarities to the gods and goddesses of later Hinduism. For instance, a prominent figure often depicted in the Indus Valley seals is a horned deity surrounded by animals, which many scholars believe to be an early form of Lord Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction and transformation. The Indus Valley civilization was also marked by a strong emphasis on cleanliness and ritual purity, as evidenced by the sophisticated urban planning and drainage systems. This focus on purity is a hallmark of Hinduism that persists even today. Around 2,000 years after the Indus Valley civilization, the Vedic period began. This era, named after the Vedas, the oldest scriptures of Hinduism, marked a significant shift. The Indo-Aryans, who authored these ancient texts, brought with them new religious ideas and practices that began to mingle with the existing spiritual traditions of the subcontinent. The Vedas introduced a pantheon of gods, complex rituals, and philosophical musings about the nature of reality and the self. The concept of karma, the moral law of cause and effect, and the cyclical nature of life, death, and rebirth, known as samsara, also emerged during this time. These ideas form the bedrock of Hindu philosophy and continue to shape Hindu thought and practice today. In this dynamic interplay of old and new, indigenous and foreign, a unique spiritual tradition was gradually taking form. The diverse strands of religious thought and practice that were woven together over centuries would eventually be known as Hinduism. As the Vedic period dawned, Hinduism began taking a more definitive shape. This is where our journey into the heart of one of the world's oldest and most complex religions truly begins. The Vedic era marked a significant turning point in the evolution of Hinduism. This period, roughly spanning from 1500 to 500 BCE, saw the composition of the Vedas, the oldest scriptures of Hinduism, which continue to influence the religion's beliefs and practices even today. The Vedic era was a time of profound spiritual exploration and discovery. The ancient sages, known as rishis, engaged in deep meditative practices and philosophical contemplation, which led to the revelation of sacred hymns and rituals. These were orally transmitted over generations and eventually compiled into 4 collections: the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. Collectively, these scriptures form the bedrock of Vedic religion, providing guidance on matters of spirituality, ethics, and socio-cultural norms. The Vedas brought forth a complex spiritual cosmos, introducing deities like Indra, Agni, and Varuna, who were invoked through intricate rituals and fire sacrifices known as yajnas. These rituals were believed to maintain cosmic order and ensure prosperity, marking the beginning of the ritualistic tradition in Hinduism. Another significant development during the Vedic era was the emergence of the caste system, or Varna. Society was hierarchically divided into 4 main classes: the Brahmins, priests and scholars; the Kshatriyas, warriors and rulers; the Vaishyas, merchants and farmers; and the Shudras, servants and laborers. This system, though initially based on profession and merit, later evolved into a hereditary structure, deeply impacting the socio-cultural fabric of Hindu society. Furthermore, the Vedic era witnessed the rise of philosophical speculations that questioned the ritualistic practices and sought to understand the ultimate reality. This led to the creation of the Upanishads, texts that delved into concepts like Brahman, the ultimate reality, and Atman, the individual soul, laying the groundwork for the philosophical underpinnings of Hinduism. With the end of the Vedic period, Hinduism was on the cusp of another transformation. The classical age brought about a more philosophical approach to Hinduism. This period, roughly spanning from 200 BCE to 500 CE, saw a shift from the ritualistic practices of the Vedic era to a more introspective and spiritual outlook. Central to this transition were the Upanishads, a collection of ancient texts that delved into the nature of reality and the self. These texts challenged the ritualistic practices of the Vedic era and instead emphasized the importance of inner knowledge and self-realization. They introduced concepts like Brahman, the ultimate reality, and Atman, the individual soul, fostering a deeper understanding of the universe and one's place in it. Alongside the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita emerged as a significant philosophical guide. This 700-verse epic, part of the Indian epic Mahabharata, is a conversation between Prince Arjuna and Lord Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita explores themes of duty, righteousness, and the path to spiritual enlightenment, and has greatly influenced Hindu thought over the centuries. This period also saw the emergence of major Hindu philosophies like Advaita Vedanta, which posits that the individual soul and the ultimate reality are one and the same. Other philosophies like Dvaita and Vishishtadvaita, with their own unique interpretations of the relationship between the soul and the divine, also took root. The classical age was also a time of architectural evolution. Temple architecture began to flourish, with intricate designs and grand structures becoming hallmarks of Hindu devotion. These temples served as both places of worship and centers of social and cultural activities. And let's not forget the iconic deities. Gods and goddesses like Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi gained prominence, each with their own rich mythology and devotee base. Their stories, depicted in various art forms, became integral to the cultural fabric of the time. The classical age left an indelible mark on Hinduism, shaping it into the religion we recognize today. From introspective philosophies to iconic deities, this period laid the groundwork for the rich and diverse practices that continue to define Hinduism. In modern times, Hinduism continues to evolve and adapt to the changing world. The colonial period marked a significant turning point in the history of Hinduism. The encounter with the West brought new challenges as well as opportunities for Hinduism. Colonial rule, while often oppressive, also sparked introspection and reform within the Hindu community. The reform movements of the 19th and 20th centuries, such as the Brahmo Samaj and Arya Samaj, sought to eliminate social practices like caste discrimination and idol worship, which they viewed as aberrations from the true spirit of Hinduism. The colonial period also saw the translation of Hindu scriptures into European languages, making them accessible to a global audience for the first time. This in turn sparked interest in Hindu philosophy among Western intellectuals and even inspired the likes of Ralph Waldo Emerson and Henry David Thoreau, key figures in the American Transcendentalist movement. In the post-colonial era, Hinduism has continued to adapt and evolve. A major development has been the global spread of Hindu practices and ideas, facilitated by immigration and the rise of new communication technologies. Yoga and meditation, both rooted in Hindu traditions, have gained worldwide popularity as methods for promoting physical and mental well-being. Hinduism's influence is also evident in the realm of popular culture. Bollywood films often incorporate Hindu themes and motifs, while many Western artists, from the Beatles to Julia Roberts, have drawn inspiration from Hindu spirituality. Despite the challenges of modernity, Hinduism has shown remarkable resilience. It has not only survived, but thrived, demonstrating an ability to absorb new ideas and adapt to changing circumstances. This adaptability is perhaps one of the key reasons for Hinduism's enduring appeal. At the same time, Hinduism has managed to retain its distinctive character. Its core beliefs such as karma, dharma, and moksha continue to guide the lives of millions around the world. Its rituals, festivals, and pilgrimage sites continue to serve as powerful symbols of communal identity and spiritual aspiration. Despite the challenges and changes, Hinduism has managed to retain its unique identity and continues to thrive. From its ancient roots to its modern manifestations, Hinduism's journey has been an intriguing one. We began by exploring the enigma of Hinduism, a religion that has been shaped by the sands of time. It sprouted from the fertile lands of the Indus Valley, a civilization that was advanced beyond its years. Their spiritual practices and beliefs laid the groundwork for what we now recognize as Hinduism. The torch then passed to the Vedic era, a period that saw the emergence of holy texts known as the Vedas. These texts, rich with hymns, rituals, and philosophical musings, became the guiding light for the religion. Next, we journeyed through the Classical Age, a time when Hinduism experienced a renaissance. It was during this period that the religion took the shape we largely recognize today. The epic tales of the Ramayana and Mahabharata were born, and the worship of deities such as Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi became more prevalent. Finally, we touched upon Hinduism in modern times, a vibrant blend of the old and the new. We explored how Hinduism has adapted to contemporary society while still retaining its core principles and traditions. While we have only scratched the surface of Hinduism's rich tapestry, we hope this journey has sparked your interest to delve deeper into this fascinating religion.